Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Authorities in Bemidji have interviewed 7 people after a 19-year-old man fell to his death from a 7th-floor window at Bemidji State University. The victim is Isaac Morris of Cokato, Minnesota. The investigation revealed he had been at a house party drinking alcohol before the deadly incident. 7 adults who played a role in hosting the party in the 2500 block of Callahan Avenue Northeast have been interviewed by police.
Yeah, so we have a student code of conduct that we rely on when it comes to things like this. So if these are students, we would refer to our student code of conduct, and any violation of that code of conduct would result in us applying our processes.
Detectives are turning the investigation over to Beltrami County Attorney's Office for felony and misdemeanor charges in this case. A man faces assault charges after police say he attacked a woman in downtown Fargo. Curtis Harrington is charged with aggravated assault for attacking a woman for apparently, police say, no legitimate reason last Thursday. Police say it happened before the noon hour at the intersection of 4th Street and 1st Avenue North. When they arrived, they found an unconscious woman. A witness told officers that Harrington walked up behind the victim and punched her in the head. When she fell to the ground, the witness said Harrington kicked the woman in the face. Court documents reveal that Harrington has been charged with assault 4 other times since 2012. Police arrested a Minnesota mom on the run after officials say she kidnapped her kids. Police say they found 39-year-old Izetta Cooley this morning at 1213 Main Avenue in Moorhead, along with 4 of her 5 children. Police say Cooley drove to a home in Rose Creek, Minnesota on September 29th, where 2 of her kids had been placed, and took off with them. Police arrested Cooley on a felony kidnapping warrant and booked her into the Clay County Jail. Cooley's husband is 44-year-old Miguel Cooley, who is accused of fatally shooting 20-year-old Gabriel Perez outside the downtown Fargo McDonald's on September 23rd. Police say 17-year-old Morgan Cooley is still missing. If you have any information, you can call Moorhead Police at 218-299-5120. We couldn't escape the clouds today, but we did bump up the temps a bit. Some areas felt warmer than others. Hutch, no problems for outdoor activities this evening?
For the vast majority of us, things are going to remain quiet this evening. A look at the satellite and radar shows that we do have plentiful clouds across the majority of the viewing area. Some showers up north, and a line of them from north of Winnipeg into parts of northeast Montana, associated with a cold punch of air that's going to impact your weather on Wednesday. Here's a look at temperatures, mid-50s for most. Wadena, a cool 48 right now. Look at the heat out to the west. Hettinger, 65, but up in Canada, behind the cold front, it's freezing in Regina. Here's a look at your planner for this evening. We'll be in the 50s for the majority of it. Fairly steady temperatures thanks to a breezy south wind over 20 miles per hour at times. Grand Forks, much the same, mid, maybe upper 50s. There'll be a very slight chance of some sprinkles as we go through the evening, but that'll mainly be confined to the international border counties. I'll have details on some wild weather for Wednesday. We're going to have wind, we're going to have warmth, we're going to have cold, rain, and even some flakes. Details in a few moments.
Sounds so fun. Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Authorities have rounded up 41 people who are now behind bars in a massive gang and violent fugitive bust. It's called Operation Damage Control. The U.S. Marshals Service says it arrested 41 people in September in connection with violent crimes committed up and down the Red River Valley. The agency says it arrested 25 alleged gang members and another 16 people involved in other crimes. The alleged crimes include murder, assaults, robbery, burglary, sex offenses, drug dealing, and felon in possession of a firearm. During this operation, authorities seized 149 grams of narcotics, nearly $9,000 in illegal funds, 2 stolen vehicles, and a gun. For a list of notable fugitives busted, head to our website, valleynewslive.com. Police need your help finding a man they believe smashed a car window in the Planet Fitness parking lot in Fargo and stole a purse. It happened around 5 in the morning this past Wednesday. The man apparently stole a credit card and used it once in Fargo and then again near Christine, North Dakota. He was caught on surveillance video driving either a red or maroon SUV with tan side panels. If you have any information, you can call Fargo Police at this phone number, 241-8175. Authorities say an inmate at the Beltrami County Jail who died a month ago died from pneumonia. Hardell Sherrill was found unresponsive by officers on September 2nd. Authorities say despite life-saving efforts, he was pronounced dead at the scene. It is no secret Halloween is just about here, and there's always debate about what's cool, what's not, and what's plain inappropriate. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer takes a look, and maybe you can decide.
Anyone who's been in a store can see that the Halloween season is here. So you might be starting to hunt for that perfect costume.
My boyfriend and I are doing a couple's costume of Cosmo and Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents.
Me and my group of friends are going as the Addams Family, so I will be Uncle Fester.
And what's offensive to some people might not be for others. For Justin Goldaddy, it's a quandary.
I've kind of come to the terms of I don't really know what's offensive, but when I see it, I'll know.
There's already been an uproar over some Halloween costumes. For example, online retailer Yandy has a costume called War Chief Hottie. And they were recently in hot water for having this costume, inspired from the show Handmaid's Tale. Critics said the show is about women empowerment and claimed this costume was degrading.
Yes. And I have original stuff from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
But Shirley Manning never had to worry about any of that. She's been in the costume business for decades. And if you want to rent a costume from her, you would have to set up an appointment. She's no longer open to the public. But she tells us through all of her years working in this costume shop, she stays away from certain ones.
I never have dealt with religious or scanty outfits.
She likes the ones from different eras and movies.
There were some cute ones.
But not all stores are like Shirley's. Here are some of the costumes available on Spirit Halloween's website that has left some shoppers asking if they are appropriate. And the people we talked to today tell us there's been a lot more discussion about what is right, what's wrong, and what's politically correct.
I think there's a little bit more of a social norm of maybe what is appropriate and what isn't.
But no matter what direction you go, demand is up this year, and you have 29 days before the big night. In Moorhead, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
And for your planning purposes, Halloween falls on a Wednesday this year. The Minnesota Twins have reportedly fired team manager Paul Molitor following their 78-84 season. Molitor, who in the 2017 season was named the American League Manager of the Year, was reportedly offered another position within the Twins organization, according to reports. Molitor has been the Twins manager for 4 seasons. When you're expecting a baby, your due date can carry a lot of weight. It can be a deciding factor in life support with preterm birth or cause more complications in delivery if it is off. In our series, Pregnant After 35, Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz explores the importance of due dates and the science behind them.
So just, kind of lay on your side.
This is me around 7 months, or at least that's what the doctors tell me. My original due date was bumped up a couple weeks after an early ultrasound measured the baby bigger than we originally thought. And that worried me. As a 36-year-old awaiting delivery day, I'm told I'll likely be induced if I don't go into labor by my due date.
If you go past your due date, there's risks because the placenta is not working as well.
When it comes to age, we know that we have higher gestational diabetes, higher preeclampsia, we have higher stillbirth.
Still, not all doctors do this.
Some people feel that quote, advanced maternal age is a risk factor. I'm kind of old school, I'll admit that. I don't like to change unless there's a really good reason, because I've been around long enough where I've seen things change, and then I've seen them change back, and I've seen them change back again.
But just how sure are we that my due date is correct? How do they determine them?
Most people give birth at 40 weeks and beyond. It is an actual statistic. So this is without intervention, without induction. This is just natural physiological birth would happen at those time frames.
My due date was originally determined by the first day of my last period. According to midwife Christine Mell, this comes from a German obstetrician in the 1800s. But she says, we might be misinterpreting it today.
We don't know if in the past physicians would utilize the last day of her period and not the first day of her period.
But Dr. Stephen Lynn says it's a good foundation to keep everyone on the same page.
Because if some people are talking conception dates and others are talking menstrual dates, and then you're not communicating the same language.
Still, inducing me before my cervix is ready for it could lead to a C-section.
And you're beating the baby's head against the brick wall because that cervix is, like a rock. And Sometimes you have to do it.
If your cervix is inducible and ready to go, it would be reasonable for you to get delivered.
What if your cervix isn't inducible?
It would have to be a conversation.
Dr. Van Erden says though he'd suggest someone my age gets induced by 40 weeks, I wouldn't necessarily have to.
But again, an individual conversation. So if you're 40 weeks and your cervix is not dilated at all, the fluid around the baby is okay, the baby looks good on the monitor, you could say, we're going to try to go a little bit farther.
But he says, I would have to come in for frequent monitoring. In Fargo, Rose Iskowitz, Valley News Live.
And for more on this, including a deeper look at a study that could change the way we look at due dates, stay tuned for Valley News Live at 9 and 10 this evening.